Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is now the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, overseeing all of a massive government agency under President Donald Trump. So I thought that this would be a good time just to go through. I have 15 strange and weird facts and beliefs that Robert F. Kennedy has that I think should at least be part of the discussion as we go forward. Okay, are you ready? I wrote them all down on these pieces of paper. Here we go. Fact 1. During a 2012 deposition, which was part of his second divorce, Kennedy said that he believed that an abnormality in his brain scans was the result of, quote, a worm that got into my brain and ate a portion of it and then died. Brainworm. Fact 2. Just before a New Yorker story came out that was a big profile of him, Kennedy admitted to Roseanne Barr, of all people, that he had left a dead bear in Central Park. Now, here's how it happened. He was in upstate New York, and the bear got hit, apparently not by him. He took the bear, put it in his car, because he had planned to skin it and, quote, put the meat in my refrigerator. Now, he had a flight early the next morning and wasn't going to be able to skin the bear and put the meat in his refrigerator. So he decided, well, I can't leave this dead bear in the back of my car. That would look suspicious at the airport. So he took the bear to Central Park and placed the carcass in Central Park and made it look like a bike accident. Fact number 3. And again, some of these are serious and some of them are a little less serious. I'm going to go get into the more serious ones now, and I'm going to run through them. Here we go. Fact 3. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that he, quote, won't take sides on 9/11 or any of the other debates. Okay. Fact 4. Kennedy has directly blamed autism on thimerosal, which is a compound that is used to preserve vaccines. He said, quote, in 2023, I do believe that autism does come from vaccines. To be clear, autism does not come from vaccines, and the study that showed that was debunked and withdrawn eventually, after a decade, but withdrawn. Okay, fact number 5. In 2021, at a Louisiana Department of Health hearing, that would require school kids to get vaccinated against the coronavirus, Kennedy said that the vaccine will be, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made. Fact 6. Kennedy promotes drinking raw milk. This is from the Washington Post. Raw milk is unsafe to consume, and the Food and Drug Administration and the CDC have strongly advised against consuming it because it can contain dangerous bacteria such as Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. It can also contain viruses, including the H5N1 bird flu that is causing an outbreak in dairy cattle and has sickened at least 40 people in the United States. All right, I'm going to stop at 6 and say, if you do not subscribe to this channel and you want someone who is calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing, I'm your guy. Subscribe. Here we go. Fact 7. This is what Kennedy said at one point relatively recently. Quote, talking about the USDA. The agency, the USDA, the FDA have been captured by the industries they're supposed to regulate, and they all have an interest in subsidies and mass poisoning the American public. Mass poisoning, saying the government is mass poisoning the American public, just to be clear. Fact 8. Kennedy has suggested the HIV virus does not actually cause AIDS. Here's what he said, quote, they were doing phony, crooked studies to develop a cure that killed people without really being able to understand what HIV was and pumping up fear about it constantly, not really understanding whether it was causing AIDS. He told New York Magazine that. Fact number 9. 9 times. Kennedy said that children's gender and gender dysphoria can be caused by chemicals in the water. Here's a quote from 2022. I want to just pursue just one question on these, the other endocrine disruptors, because our children now, we're seeing these impacts that people suspect are very different than in ages past about sexual identification among children and sexual confusion, gender confusion. Fact 10. Kennedy was a proponent of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine as effective treatments against COVID-19, even though there are no scientifically based studies that said those things worked. Here's what he said. We racked up the highest death count in the world. We only have 4.2% of the globe's population, but we had 16% of the COVID deaths in this country, and that was from bad policy. There's countries that did the opposite of what we did, that provided ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, other early treatments to their populations, and had 1/200th of our death rate. There are 2 pages. It goes on. Fact number 11. Kennedy said there is, quote, tremendous circumstantial evidence, end quote, that psychiatric drugs cause mass shootings, and that the National Institutes of Health refuse to research that link because they are in hock to the pharmaceutical companies. Kennedy also said, this is fact 12, about COVID-19. He said it is, quote, targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. He added that the virus spared Jewish people and Chinese people. Fact 13, lucky 13. Kennedy has said repeatedly that he believes the CIA was fundamentally involved in the assassination of his uncle, President John F. Kennedy, in 1963. He said this, quote, most of the people in that investigation believed it was the CIA that was behind it because the evidence was so overwhelming to them. Fact 14, we are close to the end. Kennedy, who you'll remember, ran for president as a Democrat in 2024, then ran for president as an independent in 2024, then endorsed Donald Trump and is now a member of Donald Trump's cabinet. What a journey. Said this about the 2004 election that George W. Bush won, got reelected, won his second term. He said that Republicans stole that election. Quote, they mounted a massive coordinated campaign to subvert the will of the people. That was Kennedy. And last, but certainly not least on my list, I don't know if you can read it. He once, along with his current wife, actress Cheryl Hines, aka Mrs. Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm, they once had a pet emu that attacked Hines, but was eventually killed by a mountain lion. And I haven't even gotten into that Kennedy is really, really into falconry. That's just an extra. That's your 16th strange or weird thing about him or that he believes. I just put that one in for extra. As always, folks, look, I'm building this channel. So subscribe, like this video, share this video to your friends, comment on this video. The best way for me to grow is you guys telling people about what I am doing. So please spread that word. Take good care.